Hi, I am Vikas Hassan, your instructor for the ultimate guide to hacking IELTS. And I am absolutely thrilled for you to start your journey of nailing IELTS, moving abroad, getting admissions, and whatever the reason you want it for. You know, I have spent so much time in dissecting this big monster, this IELTS, and simplifying it for you. You see, English language is a vast language. IELTS is what, like 0.1% of English language? So why should we study the entire English language when all we need is to ace the skill of IELTS? In this course, you're going to find all 4 sections: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And the way I've structured this is that I first give you the fundamental hacks that will form the building blocks, and then I'll give you the smart strategies, tips, live demos on how to apply them, live demos of speaking questions and interview practices, live demos of writing, and basically everything else. You must be wondering, who am I? I am the founder of Australia Yours, which is now the largest career blog in Australia for the Asian community. But this IELTS course is now not only the best-selling course for the Asian community looking to move to Australia, but also those who are looking to move to Canada and UK for PRs and student purposes. I graduated as a gold medalist from National University of Singapore, and I got 8.5 band in my IELTS in my first attempt, and I was not a native English speaker. I learned English the way I have taught in this. I learned the skill of IELTS the way I've taught in this. And now I go around the world giving talks, training people. In the past 2 years, I've been to 26 countries and trained over 5,000 people. I've held nothing back. I have given you every single thing, every single strategy and hack that I first applied for myself, then my pilot students, and now in the past 2 years, about more than 1,000 students. So hop in and brace yourself, because I can't wait for you guys to start your journey of nailing IELTS and moving to your dream destination abroad. See you inside, and I'm with you every step of the way.
Now, we're going to look at the writing task 2. You don't have to be a good writer to write a good essay. This task may look even harder than the letter, but it's just a first impression. All I'm asking you is to follow the rules, keep the structure right, and practice a little. You can easily reach a level where no matter what topic they give you, after 40 minutes, you'll turn a beautiful 250 plus words essay and walk out of the room with a huge smile on your face. Remember, topics don't matter. You will learn to follow a set routine to write on any topic. If you're a beginner, you might be even thinking that some topics are easier to write, such as social media, and some are difficult to write, such as e-learning for kids. But you have to develop a mindset to write on any topic without bringing in your emotions that, oh man, it's hard. No. Instead, what you're going to do, that no matter what the topic is, your first response should be, okay, cool, I can do it. It is important to hack the mind first in order to not get paralyzed by fear. Remember this. So let's get into the structure of 2 sides essays first. To explain this, I'll use a sample topic. And we're going to stick with this topic for the rest of the essay structure. So read this very carefully. Car ownership has increased so rapidly over the past 30 years that many cities in the world are now one big traffic jam. More people should use public transport. Do you agree or disagree? Another variation could be, do advantages of using public transport outweigh disadvantages? So this is a classic 2 sides essay. So what is the structure you're going to follow? The first paragraph will be introduction, 2 to 3 statements. The second paragraph will be, which is the first body paragraph, is the side you disagree with. All right, so let's look at it again. More people should use public transport. Do you agree or disagree? So let's say you disagree with the statement that more people should use public transport. You will always write the first paragraph for the side you disagree with. And then paragraph number 3 and 4 will always be the side that you agree with. Why this? Because this will naturally lead to your conclusion and makes your essay look awesome. There's a very beautiful structure to it. There's an introduction, 2 to 3 statements. You choose a side. You write first body paragraph for the opposite side, and then you write 2 paragraphs in favor of your side. And in the conclusion, you just reiterate that why the side you chose is the right side. Right? So again, 5 paragraphs. Remember the structure from the fundamental hacks? No matter if it's writing task 1 or writing task 2, the structure will always be 5 paragraphs. 1 intro, 1 conclusion, 3 body paragraphs. And just for the reminder, the second fundamental hack will always be planning, and third fundamental hack will always be last 5 minutes is equal to half a band score. Alright, so now let's get down into the structure one by one. Introduction. 2 to 3 statements. What is it? You will paraphrase the topic and you will give your thesis. This is your introduction. Always. First sentence or first 2 sentences is just paraphrasing the topic. And then you give your thesis. Some tips for introduction. There is no reason to write a longer introduction. The key to a good score for your IELTS essay is to write strong body paragraphs, with each containing a clear, relevant main point that is extended and developed. So don't waste more time adding more to your introduction just for the sake of words. You will be marked down if your essay includes unnecessary information or lacks focus. Second tip, in the first statement, always paraphrase the topic. Do not simply copy the topic from instructions. Write in your own words, and I'll give you examples for that. Do not worry. And lastly, the second statement is your thesis. Okay, let's go down deep into what is thesis, because I know this is a problem. Thesis is your opinion on the topic. Meaning, this is where you write whether you agree or disagree with the topic. And my number 1 hack for this is, and you will have to do this, is to always take side of the topic. If the topic says more people should use public transport, you'll always say yes, more people should use public transport. Even if you believe that car is better, even if you like using private car, always take side of the topic. Why do you do that? Well, there are 2 reasons. First, agreeing with the topic is always the popular opinion. That is the way IELTS will structure its topic. It will not say something like that criminals should be freed from the prison. Do you agree or disagree? Because then you can't agree, right? You can't say criminals should not have a prison sentence. The way all IELTS topics are structured, agreeing with the topic is the right thing to do. By going with the popular opinion, it is always easier to write an essay because chances are you have heard other people or news channels or articles talking about it from the side of the popular opinion. You see, popular opinion is created through people talking, through media. So it's always easier to have a popular opinion. More to write. For example, if the topic is whether ebooks are better than paper books, I would advise you to say yes, even if you find reading paper books better and more convenient. This is because it's easy to support ebooks argument by saying things like it saves paper, it's environmentally beneficial, it saves trees, students don't have to carry heavy bags, it's cheaper to buy many books if it's ebook, it's easier to read while traveling, etc. You see, they're like, I've just given you 6 reasons to support ebooks from the top of my head. That is the beauty of going with a popular opinion, even if you like paper books more. And then there's a second reason as well. Examiners are also humans, they also have popular opinions. If you agree with popular opinion, you will most likely agree with examiner's opinion, and hence examiner will feel good reading your essay. Well, even if I'll say that examiners are impartial, that's not how human psychology works. You see, when humans support something and someone challenges their opinions, subconsciously our mind starts to build defenses and start thinking about counter arguments. You surely don't want your examiner's mind to do that and end up getting a lower score, do you? So just trust me on this, even if the IELTS or everybody says otherwise. Always agree with what the popular opinion is. So this is your thesis. For example, more people should use public transport? Yes, my thesis is more people should use public transport. Do advantages of using public transport outweigh disadvantages? Yes, in my opinion, advantages of using public transport outweigh disadvantages. Internalize that. This will always be your stance, your thesis. So how is my introduction looking like now? I have to paraphrase the topic and I have to give my thesis. Here is what I've come up with. Around the world, as well as in my city, people are spending more time stuck in the traffic than they were a few decades ago. Right? This first sentence is just paraphrasing the topic. It says car ownership has increased so rapidly over the past 30 years that many cities in the world are now one big traffic jam. I paraphrase it, around the world, as well as in my city, people are spending more time stuck in the traffic than they were a few decades ago. I'm just saying the same thing in a different way. Then I add in a sentence like, it is clear that something has to be done, as such a high traffic growth is not sustainable. Okay, even if you don't write the second sentence, you still have a very strong introduction with just the first sentence and the third sentence, which is your thesis, which is that I think that popular adoption of public transport is necessary if cities have to function efficiently. So first and the last sentence is important. In the middle, I just gave you an example. So if you want to write more, this is how you write more. You just add in something in the middle, which doesn't really mean much, but just creates a better flow to connect the first and the third sentence. What's going on here? First sentence was just paraphrasing of the topic statement, like traffic jam is increasing. And second and third is just agreeing with the option of using public transport. So where are we? For the structure of two sides essay, we have done introduction. Now, the first body paragraph, side that you disagree with. Now, I'm going to tell you something very special about body paragraphs. For each of the body paragraph, you can either write 2 reasons of why you agree or disagree. For example, if it's paragraph 2, 2 reasons why you disagree. If it's paragraph 3 or 4, 2 reasons why you agree. Or you can also write just 1 reason and give 1 example. Right? So these are the 2 versions. You can choose to do any. If you're the guy who finds it easier to create personal examples, even if you've not really faced that, all the examples I'm going to give you in the next slides are not really personal. I've not faced them, but I just created that. Or you're the guy who don't really like to create much, so you just want to give 2 reasons of why you disagree or agree. Again, since you have 2 paragraphs in favor, you'll have double the reasons for agreeing as compared to disagreeing, and this will naturally lead to the conclusion. Before going on, I want to give you one game-changing tip as well. Essay writing or even letter writing is not a test of your knowledge or intellect. It is just a test of your English, which means there are no correct points. Which means you don't even have to worry for a second that whether what you're going to write is backed by research studies or science or media, or even if it's a fact or a fiction. You don't have to worry about that. For instance, you can write that in my city, people spend on average 10 hours stuck in traffic each week. Well, I just made it up, and that's fine. I have no fucking idea if people spend 10 hours stuck in traffic or 20. I have not seen the stats, and I don't even care. Neither does the IELTS care. This is just a test of your English, not of your knowledge, not of your intellect. So feel free to create all kinds of facts and information and fictional places and whatever you want to. Instead of 10 hours, you can even write 15 hours stuck in the traffic. And that is fine as well. The test is not of your knowledge and facts. It is your ability to write in a structured manner that makes sense. This is game changing when it comes to writing points for the body, for both letter as well as essay. So now, let's get in. First body paragraph, side you disagree with, meaning in favor of car usage. Remember, the side you agree with is public transport. So the side you disagree with is in favor of car usage. I'll first share with you the 2 reasons version. In the 2 reasons version, my planning hack will look like this. I'm not going to go into detail of planning hack again because I've gone in writing task 1. It just means that on the question paper, you plan your structure, or not a question paper, even on a rough sheet, you plan your structure like this. You have a full structure, 5 paragraphs. Your first body paragraph is the side you disagree with. This is what your planning should look like. This is how you should be spending your first 5 minutes. Just write 2 reasons why you feel that car usage is better. Well, I just came up with these. It provides convenience to families with children. And second reason, it saves time, especially during non-peak hours. Once I have my planning statements ready, all I have to do is just expand on them. Let's see how I have expanded them. Undoubtedly, having a private car has its benefits. Firstly, it provides extreme convenience to its owners. Most of the times, the destination is not exactly at the bus stop, so when taking a public transport, most people have to walk 10 to 15 minutes from the nearest bus stop to their final destinations. This creates a lot of inconvenience, especially for families with kids. This is it. These 3 sentences, starting from firstly, it provides extreme convenience to its owners, ending with especially for families with kids, is just the expansion of my first planning statement, which is it provides convenience to families with children. In the middle, all I did was add a bit of more context, just to make it look more solid and add more details, make it look like a story. Okay, second, what was the second planning hack? It saves times, especially during non-peak hours. Alright, let's see how I've extended that. Secondly, having a private car saves a lot of time, especially in the non-peak hours. Most of the traffic jam occurs in the peak hours when kids are going to school or working professionals are going to office. During the rest of the day, having a private car to travel often takes less than half the time than it takes in public transport. These are some details I've just created out of nowhere. You see, even if you don't write the third sentence during the rest of the day one, it's fine. It's still a solid paragraph in favor of car usage. I'm just writing much more than I'm supposed to because I'm giving you extra lines in there to give you examples of how to create context around your one planning statement. Okay, the other version would be what I call the one reason version. So if you're the kind of guy who finds writing just one reason and one personal example easier, then you can write a paragraph just like this. You can have in your planning, it provides convenience to families with children, and then give a personal example of going to commercial centers with my family. I've just created this example. It was not really personal, but that's the beauty. Everything is fine when it comes to IELTS. So, how the paragraph looks like. Undoubtedly, having a private car has its benefits. Most important of them all is the extreme convenience it provides, especially to the families with kids. For instance, most of the commercial centers where I go to, you see there's an I in there now, I go to from my home are at least 10 to 15 minutes walk from the nearest bus stops. This means that every time I'm traveling with my wife and two kids, I have to be very careful with kids crossing the road. Well, I don't even have wife and kids, but you see what it means by creating context. During the summers, we have to take extra precaution to use umbrellas and sunblock to stay out of heat. Well, I'm just writing more in favor of car usage. But you see, even if you don't write the last statement during the summers, it's fine. It's a great paragraph. Okay, so how your second and third body paragraphs are going to look like. These are the side you agree with, meaning these are in favor of public transport. So when I'm doing the planning, I'll write 4 reasons, 2 reasons for each paragraph of the side I agree with. Or if it's advantages or disadvantages and I'm telling more about the advantages, I write 4 advantages in my planning state. And planning is as simple as this. Makes efficient use of road capacity. This is about public transport, right? Is better for the environment, is safer mode of transport, helps economic system of state. So this is the 2 reason version, meaning 2 reasons for each paragraph. Let's expand it. So first 2 reasons in the first paragraph. Nevertheless, the benefits of using public transport far outweigh those of private cars. You see this one line I've used? This line I've used to transition from the disadvantages to advantages, from disagreeing paragraph to agreeing paragraph. You'll always use this first sentence to transition from the side you disagree with, which is the first body paragraph, to the side you agree with, which is the second body paragraph. Okay, now let's expand it. For instance, public transport makes efficient use of road capacity. And now just add more context to it. In one car, there is usually 1 to 2 people sitting. A normal bus takes as much road space as 3 cars, but it can have 50 to 60 people traveling in that space as compared to 4 to 6 people traveling in private cars. This means that much more travel demand can be met if people adopt public transport. This was me extending the first planning statement, which was makes efficient use of road capacity. And now let's continue where we left off. This would also result in less congestion and traffic jams on the road, which will decrease air pollution and environmental quality of the city. Vehicle engines produce carbon dioxide that harms the environment. If more engines are stuck in traffic jam, more carbon dioxide is being released in the air. So this was the extension of my second planning statement, which is better for the environment. But you see, there are extra lines. Even if you don't write, let's say, last line, if more engines are stuck in traffic jam, more carbon dioxide is released. The second last line was good enough. Vehicle engines produce carbon dioxide that harms the environment. It's good enough. Just writing more to tell you, to give you examples. Now you have 2 more reasons to cover and you have last paragraph of your body. is safer mode of transport. Furthermore, public transport is a safer mode of transport for both passengers as well as road users. Give more context to it. Since drivers of public buses are employed and trained, they take their job professionally and drive within the speed limits and lanes. On the other hand, people driving their own cars are frequently seen speeding past the speed limits if they're getting late for work. Alright, this was a good extension of my third sentence. And now my last reason is helps economic system of state. Alright, let's expand this. Lastly, since most cities have a state-run public transport system, it helps the government to collect fare revenue from ticket sales. It can then invest the earnings back in making public transport network and road infrastructure even better. Again, there are more lines in there than you need, but you see how it happens. In the planning stage, you had 4 reasons, 2 reasons for each of the paragraph, and when actually writing it, you just expand by adding details behind, around, and creating more context around it. If you like one reason version, this is how your planning will look like. You'll have just one reason, which is, let's say, makes efficient use of the road capacity. And you'll give one example from your city that you'll create even if it's not true. And then you'll have, for the last paragraph, another reason, which is it's safer mode of transport, and then you'll give a personal example. In my case, I created an example that people are afraid to cycle, walk because of danger from drivers on the road. And I'll show you how it looks like. So let's expand it. Again, the same first line. Nevertheless, the benefits of using public transport far outweigh those of private cars. Now, one reason. For instance, public transport makes efficient use of road capacity. In one car, there is usually 1 to 2 people sitting. A normal bus takes as much road space as 3 cars, but it can have 50 to 60 people traveling in that space. It's the same one as before, but the second reason has been changed to a personal example, which is, I have seen this happen in my city recently. One of the major roads in the city center has gotten a new metro bus lane that is exclusive to only buses. According to recent stats released by the Department of Transportation, 5 times more people travel through that one lane as compared to the other 2 car lanes combined. And who says these stats are true? No one does. I just created them. Stats from Department of Transportation. You can just say, if you don't want to go over the board and you're under pressure and you're not thinking right, you can just say, one of the major roads in the city center has gotten a new metro bus lane that is exclusive to only buses. 5 times more people travel through that one lane as compared to the other 2 car lanes combined. So you can say that, that's fine as well. But I'm just giving you an example of how you can keep creating facts out of thin air which are not even true. This fact is also not true, that 5 times more people travel, but that's fine. And this is how you're going to approach your essay as well. Now, last paragraph is my expansion of the third bullet point above in the planning, as well as a personal example. Furthermore, public transport is a safer mode of transport for both passengers as well as road users. Since drivers of public buses are employed and trained, they take their job professionally and drive within the speed limits and lanes. On the other hand, people driving their own cars are frequently seen speeding past the speed limits if they're getting late for work. Personal example, in my city, people are even afraid to walk or cycle even for short distances because occasionally car drivers end up driving very close to the sidelines in order to break free of traffic. This has resulted in creating an unsafe environment for road users who do not own cars. Last line is optional, but you see how this goes. This is how you write a personal example. Where are we now? We have done the introduction for the 2 sides essay. We have done the 3 body paragraphs, the side you disagree with, side you agree with. We have seen how you plan, and you can plan a 2 reasons version for each of these body paragraph, or you can have 1 reason combined with one personal example. Lastly, conclusion. What is conclusion? You just repeat the thesis from introduction, but in a paraphrased way. I'll show you how. And then you summarize the points that you have agreed with. Very important. You're not going to summarize the points that you have disagreed with in your first body paragraph. Only in the second and third body paragraph, the points that you've agreed with, you are going to summarize them. So this is how conclusion looks like. The first sentence or first two sentences is just repetition of your thesis from the introduction paragraph in a different way. So I've written, in conclusion, traffic jams are increasingly creating problems for the city and its inhabitants, and massive adoption of public transport is critical for cities to function efficiently and making them a healthier place to live in. Now, this is a long paraphrase of my thesis. I could have just written, in conclusion, massive adoption of public transport is critical for cities to function efficiently. That is it. That would have been fine as well. So I'm just giving you more here as an example. Now, in the last sentence, you just summarize the points you've agreed with. And you don't have to summarize all the points. If you've written like 4 reasons to agree with, you can just summarize any 2. This is just a conclusion. And a good conclusion does not mean that you're going to get high marks, but a bad conclusion would mean that you will lose marks. So just summarize a couple of points. I have summarized here, not only usage of public transport would make cities safer and more efficient, that's my first point, it would also benefit the environment by reducing air pollution. That's my second point. Very simple. If you put all of this together, how does it look like? Well, it looks like a very healthy, long essay. And these are a lot more words than you required. Remember, I was telling you that I'm giving you more details? These are just some sentences I can completely remove, and I can do a lot more, and still, my essay would look much more than 250 words. It's about 300 here, and you can have even less sentences, and it's still a great paragraph. But the beauty of this is that I have not written it as a one big block of 250 plus words. I have written it in sections, paragraph by paragraph, using a very structured approach of disagreeing, then agreeing and agreeing, of using either 2 reasons version in planning or 1 reason with 1 personal example, whatever is more convenient with you. And then I have a very structured way of writing introduction, a couple of lines there, a couple of lines in the conclusion. And to tell you the truth, it just took me like 25 minutes at max to do this. But remember, last 5 minutes, always recheck it. That's why you write it quicker than you're supposed to. Okay, before ending, I want to give you some of the linking words because I know you've been seeing some words, but you don't know what to do with those. And these are the words I'm talking about. Undoubtedly, for instance, nevertheless, firstly, furthermore, in conclusion. So you see, these are called linking words. These are so important that these actually hold the structure together. You take these words out, your entire structure falls. These are the words you use for each of your paragraph to start. Whenever you are changing from disagreeing to agreeing, you use something like nevertheless. And whenever you are just writing a second paragraph in favor, when you've already written a paragraph in favor, you write something like furthermore. All right? If you have to give, let's say, list of examples because you're giving 2 reasons or 5 reasons, you say things like, for instance, or firstly, secondly, thirdly, lastly. And then in conclusion, you write in the end as well. So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a list of linking words for each situation. Just memorize a few and always use them. These are not optional. So when you have 2 or 3 more points, such as examples to give, use these words to start a new sentence with new example. Firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, lastly, It can also be firstly, secondly, lastly, just giving you an example. Always use that. When you want to talk about something by giving more points, by starting a new sentence or paragraph, you can use words like in addition, additionally, furthermore, moreover. My favorite is furthermore, as you've seen me use it in the third body paragraph of the side when I'm agreeing with something. Whenever you're going to give a personal or a non personal example, always write, for example, for instance, such as handy words. And when you're explaining a point and want to tell that because of this, that happened, use these words. As a result, consequently, therefore, thus. These linking words, these will make your essay look so much better than fivers or a sixers. You will be an easy 7 and 8 plus. By the way, the examples I've given you are all 8.5 and 9. So even if you do not write as good as those, you'll still end up scoring 8. Or if you're already at 5-ish, then about 7-ish. Contrast. This is whenever in a two sides essay, you're starting a new paragraph to talk about the other side. You see, your first body paragraph was about the side you disagree with, and now your second body paragraph is going to be side you agree with. So you can make that transition using my favorite word, which is nevertheless, or you can just use on the other hand and however. When you're giving your opinions, you can use in my opinion, I think, I believe, in my view, I agree with the statement. And lastly, for the conclusion paragraph, start with one of these. In conclusion, blah blah blah, to conclude, or clearly.